We talk a lot about getting students ready for the future. But what if we're missing one of the most crucial skills they'll ever need? I'm talking about digital privacy. And believe me, this isn't just about picking a strong password anymore. It's about understanding the entire blueprint of the world we live in right now.
So let me ask you something straight up. If anyone, could see every single click, every late night search, every like you've ever given, what kind of story would that tell about you? What picture would they paint?
Because here's the thing, for the companies trying to sell you stuff, for governments keeping tabs, and yeah, even for the colleges or jobs you're applying to, that story, it's not just a little slice of who you are. More and more, it's becoming the whole picture. The stakes are, well, they're incredibly high.
Okay, so to really get why this is so critical, we've got to understand the world that young people are growing up in today. This is not the internet you or I might remember. It's a completely different beast, an entire ecosystem built on constant, and I mean constant, observation. Just think about it. Today's kids are literally the first generation to grow up completely surrounded by this. You've got tech platforms tracking every single one of their interests, classroom apps that can monitor their keystrokes, social media that's harvesting their personal lives for a buck, and then you have governments rolling out things like facial recognition everywhere. It's like a giant data dragnet coming from every direction. And this leads to a really disturbing shift in what we expect, right? Misusing our data. It's not some shocking scandal anymore. It's just the price of admission for being online. The source material is really clear on this. Privacy breaches are pretty much the norm now, not the exception. It's a symptom of a business model built on a trade-off that, let's be honest, most of us never actually agreed to. So, all this constant surveillance leads to one massive consequence, and it's something that completely changes the game for how we act online. I'm talking about the permanence of our digital footprint. A footprint in the sand is a pretty good metaphor for how things used to be, right? Your actions fade, they get washed away by the tide. But a digital footprint? That's the complete opposite. It's like a footprint set in concrete. It's permanent, it's searchable, and it follows you forever. And the source material really nails this. It says these digital footprints are not washed away by time. There's no tide to clean the slate. Everything you post, everything you say, everything you share, it's just there. And that has some seriously real-world consequences. So the big question is, how does this permanent record actually get used against you? Well, think about it. College admissions officers, potential employers, they're all playing digital detective now, digging through your social media. That dumb rant you posted when you were 15, yeah, that can totally come back to haunt you in a job interview 10 years down the road. And then there's the more immediate scary stuff. Oversharing your location can literally put you in danger from stalkers. All right, let's make this a bit more concrete. We can basically break down the risks kids are facing into three main categories. And look, understanding these threats, that's the absolute first step to fighting back. And what's interesting is how these threats kind of build on each other. You've got commercial tracking, which is all about money. Then that can feed into government surveillance, which is about control. And finally, it all opens the door for cybercrime and predators, which is about causing direct personal harm. So, first up, commercial tracking. This is basically the engine that makes the modern internet run. Companies use things like cookies and data brokers to follow you all over the web. They build these crazy detailed profiles on you to predict what you'll do next. And it's not just about selling you a pair of shoes. It's way more insidious. It's about manipulating what you think. Next, we have government surveillance. Now, this can feel like something out of a spy movie, but the tools are becoming super common. I'm talking facial recognition cameras, location trackers. The really chilling part is how the apps on your phone can feed data right into these huge systems, mapping out where you go and who you know.
And finally, you've got the most direct threat of all, cybercrime and predators. Leaving a messy digital trail just makes you an easy target. Your personal info can be snatched for identity theft, or even worse, it can be used by predators to target, groom, and harm vulnerable kids. Now, I know this all sounds like it's about your own personal safety, and it is, but the implications here are so much bigger. Digital privacy isn't just about protecting yourself, it's actually about protecting our entire society. This right here is the core idea. See, privacy gives us the room to think freely, to ask tough questions, to hang out with whoever we want, all without looking over our shoulder. It's basically the soil that democracy grows in, and if you take that away, those freedoms start to die on the vine. Let's just walk through the chain of events here. Step 1, you're under constant surveillance. Step 2, that creates a fear of being watched. Step 3, that fear leads to self-censorship. You stop saying what you really think, you stop exploring edgy ideas. And when a whole society of citizens gets quiet, democratic freedoms just shrink.
And look, this is not some abstract theory. The whole Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal was a massive wake-up call for everyone. It showed in terrifying detail how personal data scraped from millions of people could be used for political micro-targeting. We're talking about sending super customized, persuasive messages to swing opinions. It really put a spotlight on just how vulnerable our democracy is when our data is misused.
Okay, so I know this all sounds pretty bleak, but there is a powerful solution, and it starts in our schools. The key is to stop framing this as an issue of fear and start framing it as an issue of empowerment. And that's the big mental shift we need to make. Teaching kids about privacy isn't about scaring them offline. Not at all. It's about giving them the keys, the knowledge, and the tools to use the digital world on their own terms. To be confident, to be in control, it's about giving them back their autonomy. There's this quote I love that calls privacy a gateway right. So what does that even mean? It means that all the other rights we care about, like free speech or freedom of assembly, they all have to pass through the gateway of privacy first. I mean, you can't really speak your mind if you're terrified your words will be twisted and used against you, right? You can't hang out with certain groups if you know you're being tracked. Privacy is the foundation for everything else. And that really brings us to one final, really important question. For centuries, being literate meant knowing how to read. But today, we live in a world that is constantly reading us. So if we teach our kids how to read books, shouldn't we also teach them how to live safely and freely in a world that's trying to read them back?